Remember my request. Remember my request.
Hello.
Haven't seen you there.
Ellen, not Ellen, Adam maybe, yeah.
I think they can all.
And then all the provincial leaders.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
The provincial leader, the more provincial leader. So,
And Mark Waters?
I think they're just the last provincial leaders.
What's that?
I think they're just the provincial leaders.
What about
National Inspector, JJ.
Okay. And Charlie, okay. Charlie, you must sit here. The spokespersons are in the front and provincial leaders in the back.
It's your provincial leaders.
Huh? Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really sorry that we started 39 minutes late. Okay, I'm really sorry that we've started so late. It's not a practice of ours to start press conferences late, but we had a lot of important matters to discuss, and discussing a long and very important campaign in one day is just not enough time. But I know there's been a lot of speculation about the DA's performance and even speculation about our leader, and I'd like to read this statement that comes out of the Federal Executive from today's deliberations. And it starts by saying, we remain committed to building one South Africa for all. We would like to thank the 3.6 million voters who entrusted the DA with the responsibility of building one South Africa. Further to this, we would like to thank the people of the Western Cape who bestowed upon us the role of the majority party. We will work day and night to build on the last 10 years of good governance in the Western Cape. When we set our 2019 election targets, we did so under very different internal and external circumstances. This was on the back of a terrific and inspiring election in 2016, where we were granted the privilege and responsibility of governing in Nelson Mandela Bay, Tshwane, Johannesburg, and the city of Cape Town, and among 30 other odd municipalities. We also gained the city of Cape Town with a very strong majority. These victories gave us the momentum to launch the Back to the People campaign and change 19 tours. These were conducted by the leadership of the party, led by Mmusi Maimane. These played a critical role in laying the foundations for One South Africa for All 2019 general election campaign. It was in the mix of this euphoria that the terrain rapidly shifted. We were faced with internal challenges and significant changes in the political landscape. The rise of nationalism on both the left and right occurred. In short, both internally and externally, there were matters that we had to grapple with. We will be the first to state that these factors had a role to play in our electoral fortunes. As the DA, we are holding the moderate, non-racial centre ground in South Africa, an important position in the rise of populism. As members of the Federal Executive, which control and direct the activities of the party and implements the decisions of the Federal Council, we all take responsibility for the outcomes of these elections, whether good or bad. That burden does not sit on the shoulders of any individual. There has been much speculation about the future of our leader, Mmusi Maimane. We would like to state that Mr. Maimane remains our leader until the Federal Congress scheduled for 2021. And at that Congress, the party will decide whether he continues as the leader or not. Any talk of a change of leadership before the Congress must be dispelled, and we dispel it as the Federal Executive. The leadership of the party at both national and provincial level were unambiguous today in our support for Mr. Maimane, who has led the DA with exemption since 2015, where he was elected at the Nelson Mandela Bay Congress, and then in 2018 he was elected unopposed. He led this campaign from the front, and every single person in the Federal Executive, bar none, commended him for this leadership. One South Africa for All is not just a slogan. It is a call to action to all South Africans, which we will continue to dispense alongside our values of freedom, fairness, opportunity, and diversity. Whether in opposition or in government, we will continue to build one South Africa for all. We will never celebrate the loss of voters. We are not blind to support in some areas, nor are we deaf to the voices of those who chose to support another party in this election. Where the losses occurred, we will work on regaining the trust of those people as we head into the 2021 local government elections. This starts with 2 by-elections taking place in Nelson Mandela Bay on Wednesday, and we will win those 2 by-elections in our endeavour to take back Nelson Mandela Bay. This morning, the Western Cape Provincial Leader, Bonginkosi Madikizela, stated that we must be on the ground, working with the people of South Africa and always keep them informed. And our leadership from the top to the branches on the ground will do exactly that over the next few weeks and months heading into the 2021 election. Equally, the best way to celebrate our victory in the Western Cape is to intensify the delivery of services and building a more inclusive and growing economy. Where we have made inroads in new communities, we will strengthen those bonds. We do not underestimate the bravery many people showed when they cast their vote next to the Democratic Alliance for the first time. Once again, we thank every single person who voted for the Democratic Alliance. There will be a review of the organizational structure of the party and how we can best operate as a party that occupies governments that serve around 15 million people in this country, and the way we campaign as a party. This review will be in consultation with all the stakeholders of the party, and we will even invite input from external members that are not members of the party. In closing, we are ever more committed to building one South Africa and reject any form of racial mobilization. We believe that the prosperous dream of 1994 for this country can become a reality, even though it is difficult. We believe that that can happen. Change is difficult, and South Africa is going through a process of change. And we as the Democratic Alliance are very much part of that change, and we look forward to continuing our endeavour to bring change and good governance to the rest of South Africa. Thank you.
Thanks, Athol. Colleagues, due to time restrictions and the fact that the leadership has to take flights and go back, we'll take 3 questions, and that will be the only round I'll take. So the first 3 goes up in all fairness, and then we can do one-on-one after. So I'll start with you.
Greetings. My name is Yesa from the Sunday Times. Mr. Trolley, you state in the statement that part of the reason of the DA lack of support, if I may put it that way, is the rise of nationalism. My question to that would be, did the DA not know that there's this rise of populism and nationalism before the elections, and what are the steps that the DA took to mitigate that, to work in its favor so that what will better support this time around? And also, in line with that, we spoke about internal challenges. You will be generous enough to perhaps, state what are those internal challenges that affected the DA in terms of its
Hi, I'm Claudia Mavish from Business Day. I just wanted to find out, can you give us more detail with regard to the review of the organizational structure in the party? What exactly do you mean? What will be reviewed in terms of the organizational structure? And then, sorry, I forgot my question.
That looks better.
Normally happens when you turn 60.
Can we get to know what the party will actually be do to other members of the organization, whether it be leaders or not, who are making comments about what should happen to the future of the leader of the DA?
Thank you very much. My name is Muluku Mloto from ENCA. You contested these elections when the ANC was at its low ebb and losing support continuously. And some people would say this was a referendum on the leadership of Mmusi Maimane. In fact, in the Western Cape, where you retained your support, it went down from 59 to 55% around there. And some people actually who voted for you in the province, who gave the ANC about 28% in the Western Cape province. Nationally, they voted for the ANC at around 52%. So they are prepared to have you govern the Western Cape, but seemingly they don't want Mmusi to be president. So clearly that projects negatively on the state, if you can explain.
All right, Mr. Self, James will deal with the questions around the review organisation from Claudie, but just to say that this is not a unique thing. It happens from time to time in any political party, and I can speak certainly from experience in the Democratic Alliance, We had a similar process in 2004 after the 2004 election, and that was under the leadership of Tony Leon. So James will deal with those issues. From Zingisa from the Sunday Times. Look, any self-respecting political party in the world should know that racial nationalism is on the rise and on the march across the world. So we're not deaf to that. One thing that we decided as the DA is that our offer is to build one South Africa for all South Africans. So that precludes us from trying to contend with racial nationalist parties. And we're not going to do that. We've made a conscious choice that we want to offer all South Africans a home in the Democratic Alliance. That means that you cannot compete with racial nationalist parties, and we have taken a decision that we don't want to compete with them. So it's as simple as that. The internal challenges would be completely premature for me to tell you what they are today. We started our listening campaign or tour today by listening to every member of the federal executive. But we have to take our ears to the provinces and to the regions and to the branches. And Mr. Maimane has informed the party of how that will unfold and what the objectives are, and James will deal with those. But we are going to go and listen to our members. We can't talk today before having listened to them about the internal challenges. Mr. Dlamini from the Sowetan. What do we do about people who are commenting internally in the party? Well, you know, we're a federal democratic political party. People are entitled to their opinions. But what we aren't going to do is, when we take responsibility for not performing as well as we would like in the election, we're not going to take irresponsible decisions dealing with it. So some people are making some comments, and as usual, they happen to be nameless and faceless. Some of them have identified themselves on social media. Well, then they'll have to put their discussions and their feelings at the Federal Council of this party. But as I said in the outset and in the statement, Mr. Maimane was elected in 2018. His term of office comes to an end in 2021. From ENCA, was this a referendum on Mr. Maimane's leadership? No, it wasn't. It was a referendum on the ANC's government and leadership, because they're the party in government, and they're the ones that lost 5%. The DA, yes, we lost 1.4%, but South Africans have spoken in, if you want to call it the referendum. This is not a referendum election about the DA competing to become a new government. It was a referendum on the current government of the ANC, and they didn't perform very well. With regards to the Western Cape, we have an endorsement of 55% of the people in the Western Cape that want our government to continue growing the economy, creating jobs and opportunity for everyone who lives in the Western Cape. And we take that mandate very seriously. And today we had the Premier of the Western Cape, Premier-elect, here, who was telling us about the plans to achieve just that. And we're very happy that Alan Winde has been nominated, and he is the Premier-elect to take the province forward after 10 years of great leadership under Helen Zille. So we believe that we got an endorsement. It was a difficult election. 65 percentage point turnout is an indication that South Africans and the general populace are wary of the current establishment, and it reflects poorly on government as a whole. And the DA is part of government. Even in opposition, we're part of government. So we take that message very seriously from the populace as well, that only 65% of them deemed it necessary to come out and vote in the election.
Thank you. As to answer Claudia's question, as Athol Trollop said, in 2004 we had a very thorough review of the party's systems, and as a result of that, we changed the way we selected candidates, we changed the way we evaluated public representatives, we changed the way that our structures were represented in other bodies in the party. What we want to do in this review is to see whether after that period those systems are still appropriate for the much bigger party that we are at the moment, to see whether they are appropriate for a different constituency from the constituency that we had in 2004. So really we will be reviewing all our processes, all our structures, with a view to ensuring that we can be the very, very best service to the voters of South Africa, and to carry out the mandate that we get in the most effective way.
Thanks very much, James. And then just in conclusion, the people that are with us here today are the provincial leaders who are responsible for going to listen with our national leader and our spokespersons who will be an integral part of that interaction with our structures. And we all take responsibility. We all contested to win wherever we stood and put up candidates. That didn't happen. We take collective responsibility, and it's an honor to be here with the provincial leaders who play such an important part in this campaign and campaigned with everything that they had. We left nothing out there, and we are ready for the challenge of 2021. Thanks very much.
Thanks. Thanks for coming, guys, and obviously for your patience. It's been a long day, so we'll deal with one more.
Somebody took my phone by mistake. Let's call somebody took my phone by mistake. On the table.
Will you guys be looking at performance in the metros?
Somebody took my phone here by mistake. Wait, on the table here.
It could be.
Where's that?